And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Expert Racing Network here live on Twitch. And right now, I think we may have some of the guys still out there in chat that are. We may have to fix that. I knew that was one problem that we might have. But guys out there in chat, thank you for joining us here on the stream right now. I'm going to try to get this fixed and out of the way real quick. Had a problem with this earlier, but we will be right back in just a few seconds. Don't go anywhere as we try to troubleshoot the chat real quick. Stay right there, and we will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back once again, and now joining me in the booth, back for round 12 here at Indianapolis, and it's weird to think we're past the halfway point of the season, but they say time flies when you're having fun, and always have fun with this individual up here in the booth. Blair Patterson, back up here in the XR Network booth. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Glad to be back. Good to see you all. Good to see everybody out there in chat. Good to see all these racers here tonight in Indianapolis. And, man, you mentioned it just a second ago, past halfway already. How can that even be possible? I feel like we just started doing this a couple weeks ago, but turns out it's week 12, so here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys are getting prepared and set out here tonight for this huge race at Indianapolis. And what's weird to think, you think this is something that, you know, would have to have happened in real life history. We have never seen a truck race in real life here at Indianapolis. These guys are going to try to tackle it on the simulator. Not much to go off of. These guys are learning about the track, have been learning about it all week in these trucks, trying to get familiar with it and trying to see what's happened. They've been battling with an iRacing update. Now they're coming in with a whole new setup. And now they're here trying to go after and tackle this race here tonight to decide a winner. I guess you can call it a crown jewel race for these guys, but they're here to prove that they're the best of best, and we're seeing the cream rise to the top as usual. Nick Trader, Nick Vroman, Justin Anasagot, James Shanewolf, and Ray Lane round out your top five. And our all-star winner, if you tuned in last week, Ed Robertson in sixth. So we're talking about guys that we're used to seeing up front topping the board here in practice, but I've heard a few rumors here and there that might not be who captures the checkered flag here this evening.
Yeah, Indianapolis, super tough track. It's really tricky. So looking at these corners, it looks like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are the same. The straightaways are the same length, but they really drive different. It's something these drivers are going to struggle with. That entry into 1, you got to hit that just right. Get down there to that white line, drive it off all the way to the wall. Don't hit the wall. Drive it into 2, hug that white line, and get as much speed as possible to go down the back. And then you come to 3 and 4, and you got a whole new set of problems. And also, Indy is really hard on tires. It's really hard on the setup on these trucks, cars, whatever you bring here to Indianapolis. But definitely a crown jewel race here at the Brickyard for these truck drivers tonight.
Yeah, and one of the premier motorsports venues, around 400,000 seats here alone. The largest, I believe, motorsports venue in all of motorsports racing as far as seating capacity, I believe. And, you know, for this track to be around as long as it's been, it's hosted a variety of different races, from hot air balloon races, we talked about that a little bit in pre-race, to the Cup Series, to IndyCar, all these different types of motorsports venues coming here to race at one of the premier places in all of motorsports. And now we're finally getting to see the Truck Series here. We know one of these guys is going to come out here and capture that checkered flag. All these guys want to make history tonight. It's going to be interesting to see who does it. And Blair, right now we talked about how this track is going to be tough on these drivers as far as tires and stuff like that. We got a quote from Josh Arnold, who said after 3 laps, you're basically going you're going to go, wow, the truck is going to basically implode on itself because of how bad it is to drive after 3 laps because you lose so much grip. But even though tires do play a factor, a lot of guys are mentioning how much of a fuel race this is going to be. I've talked to a few different drivers, and we have a variety of different strategies in which some guys say, hey, you're going to make it to 19 laps and then you're going to have to pit. And then we have some guys saying, hey, you can make it 22, 23 laps and be okay up to that point. So a bunch of different varying strategies out here tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see who can try to capitalize on that. That could end up being the one factor that wins you the race overall.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a ton of cautions at this track tonight. Inevitably, I'm expecting this to come down to a fuel mileage race. So saving fuel is going to be a big thing at Indy. It's real easy to lay in that throttle and go down these super long straightaways, both the front and the back. However, it's going to be important to get in the draft, get in behind somebody, and manage that fuel as much as possible and get it to hit for you that your tires don't fall off as bad, and find that sweet center of tire wear and fuel strategy. It's going to be a really tough track for all these drivers and crews tonight. So should be, which that always equals really fun racing for us. So I'm excited for it.
You're right. Out there in chat, the repeat 1975 saying, "What's up, guys?" and welcome back, Blair. So Blair, you're back in the booth once again. Repeat out there joining us last week, and he talked about he may be joining us in the weeks to come. So nice to see Pete out there in chat. And you talked about the fun racing that we usually see out of these technical type of races. Well, you're exactly right, and it's going to be a question of a different type of factor that we're seeing here. Draft is going to be a huge factor. All the draft races we've seen this year, it's going to be interesting. This is a 2.5-mile oval track. You got 4 corners that have 9.2 degrees of banking, so nearly flat corners that you're driving into, in which you have a short chute, you have these extremely long straightaways. So it's all about carrying momentum and seeing who can take these corners the best off of these long straightaways, who can carry the most speed through them. But also, we heard this quote several times throughout the week, you're going to need a dancing partner. These guys talk about being able to draft with each other. Maybe you'll see tandems down the straightaway pushing each other down these straightaways, especially as the run goes on. So tonight it's going to be extremely wild to see, and we don't have data ourselves pretty much on how this racing could go. This is going to be very unpredictable once the green flag drops.
Yeah, the notebook's pretty thin on the big track here at Indianapolis and truck racing. It's a pretty thin notebook. However, the best thing that you could do for preparation, if you're wanting to look at notes, is going to be something like Pocono. They have a corner that's similar to Indianapolis, of course, and they also have the long straightaways. So the closest thing you're going to compare data-wise is going to be Pocono. However, Indianapolis is a tough track. The reason why it's a crown jewel is it's hard to win at. I think that's part of the thing of being a crown jewel. You have to be around for a long time. It has to be a hard place to win. I think those are like the 2 key factors to making crown jewel races. So there's going to be a lot that goes into this tonight, and the draft is going to be important. Finding somebody to work with is going to be important. Saving your stuff, backing up those corners as much as possible to save the tires is going to be important. There's just going to come down to so much, but you touched on it at the top of the broadcast. Cream rises to the top. I think we're still going to see a lot of the same players here towards the front. Your traders, Vroman, Anasagak, Shane Wolf, Lane Robertson, Paul Irvin even. I think you're going to see a lot of these same players towards the front. And also wanted to say thanks again to Pete for hopping in the booth last week. It was awesome. I got to watch the broadcast, so that was super cool.
Well, definitely it was nice to see you out there in chat. And nice of Pete to once again come up in the booth. Still very nostalgic. I got my start with him broadcasting over on the Xbox side for NNR, and it's interesting to see how we've all grown as not only broadcasters, but also NNR itself growing from Xbox, now coming over here to iRacing, and the strides they've taken. So definitely a very tight-knit group of guys here, and NNR is ever expanding, and definitely getting better week in and week out in moving forward. So NNR, once again, thank you to them for allowing this opportunity, and for having such a great all-star race last week that Ed Robertson was able to win, as well as a bunch of other guys who played factors into that one. It was very fun to watch. And one thing we haven't mentioned, I want to go ahead and mention it, is our friends over at One Mind to Design. We're looking at all these nice looking trucks out there on track. We want to shout out to them as they are one of the big reasons that we are able to be over here on iRacing. So shout out to the guys at One Mind to Design. If you need an iRacing paint scheme, go check those guys out and show them the love they deserve as well.
That's my favorite thing to talk about is paint schemes. I love talking about paint schemes. Oh, Lord,
here we go.
I haven't really found one to make fun of yet. Hang on. Let me look for my typicals. Where's the 9?
Well,
find the 9. Ooh.
Let's go look for him. He's out there on track. That's the Casey Kane throwback once again.
We've already talked about this one. I'm glad that he's got the Toyota symbols on it and the Toyota on the quarter panels. I'm super good with that. The Evernham 9 on there. Okay, I get it. But very Casey Kane-esque.
Yes.
But that one doesn't bother me.
Okay, well, I mean, that works. Yeah, I like it as well. I actually, in my Forza racing days over there, when I was league racing on Forza and different endurance and NASCAR series over there, I actually ran a version of this on a Toyota. So this is actually very nostalgic and takes me back as well.
Looks good. Looks real good. I haven't seen Anasagak yet. What's he running tonight? Where is he? Let's see if I can find him.
I think he's on pit road. He's kind of hiding from us right now.
I don't blame him. Yeah, he must be on pit road.
But right,
I'm having trouble finding him.
Yeah. These guys all on pit road right now. I believe we're going to be entering. We're going to be entering the drivers' meeting here soon, and you know what happens when we have the drivers' meeting, right?
Hype video, buddy.
It's the hype video. Let's head over to the hype video real quick, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back here once again. Always got to love the hype videos. You got to love it. I mean, these guys do such a great job, Jim Coy and everybody at NNR. And, at the end of it, always feels good to feel that appreciation for, the opportunity of having us up here in the booth. Nice to know that they appreciate what we do up here. I mean, I got to show appreciation to you, Blair, because for the past 11 weeks of the actual point season, you've made me look good. You've basically allowed this to be a thing, allowed NNR to be able to be on the Expert Racing Network. So I definitely got to give a big thanks to you.
I appreciate it. I've got an idea. I'm going to get with Coey on this during the week. I've got something to add to the end of the hype video that would just really make it for me.
Oh, take it away, my friend.
I think we need a Ric Flair woo at the end.
Woo! There you go. I was about to say, interestingly enough, where I work at, actually, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, actually came in there today.
No kidding.
No kidding. So as you're bringing up old wrestling stars, just coincidentally enough.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I was about to say I was thinking about that, but I mean, you brought up old Slick Rick. I mean,
I think every proper hype video. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from these awesome videos that NNR does, but just now took me 12 weeks to figure this out, obviously. But I think the proper hype needs a Ric Flair woo.
woo.
What's chat say about that? Did they agree with me?
Well, right now, we may actually get a poll started for that one just to have if we need to add that in there. Pete's saying though, Anna Sagak is running Kanye's old Mopar scheme with my friends from Ray's Energy on board.
Okay.
So that's what he's running. I'm not sure. He's not out there on track, so I'm not sure if we can get a look at him.
Hard to get a look at him until he gets on track.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. But right now, Ed Robertson, he's still making laps out there on track, I believe. So we're going to stick with him and see how he's doing out there as he's continuing to get some practice in.
Yeah, he went with he's in a white truck tonight. He's normally in kind of a reddish color, isn't he?
He's trying out a different style. When you're the All-Star winner, you get that extra cash in your pocket. You know, you got to come out with a little style, a little swagger into the next race.
I like it a lot. I wonder if Drew Trader got his truck fixed, or is he still running duct tape? We got to look at that too.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not sure about to say, I think that truck is going to need a lot more Flex Seal and duct tape after that All-Star race. So, those guys got wild. About to say,
yeah, that was fun seeing that.
I was lucky enough to be able to purchase old Gary Lewis Jr.'s truck. You know, he was selling that one for $2,500 there that night. So you know, got to make your money somewhere. Why not try to race it in the All-Star race and then make a little money afterwards?
I like it. Did he get it sold?
Yeah, I was the one that purchased it.
Oh, you bought it. You bought it.
I got it.
Wow, look at that. What are you going to do with it?
I'm not sure. It might be a daily drive, or you might see it coming soon on as we're getting into more league racing on the channel and stuff like that. You might be seeing me piloted in some POVs in some league races here soon.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like that idea.
So you might get to see a lot more of that truck. It's going to be repainted, definitely. I don't want a spray painted 69 on the side of it. Instead, we're going to get the decals in there and you know, try to get it brought up to speed. But shout out to the guys at One Mind to Design, because they're going to be one of the head sponsors on it, as well as Rogue Energy. So those two combining their efforts to be able to produce a truck for Expert Racing Esports out there on track.
Very cool. What number is going to be on the side of that thing?
The glorious number 9.
Oh, the 9. Okay, you're a 9 as well.
Yeah, I'm looking. You know, I'm from Georgia. Awesomeville from Dawsonville. That's kind of a thing around here. There's 3 people that you like here in Georgia if you're a race fan. You're either a Earnhardt fan, you're a Gordon fan, or you're an Elliott fan, and those are the 3 you go for.
There you go. Or Jerry Glanville.
Yes, that too.
Remember when he drove? Do you remember that?
I think that was a little past my time. That's a little before my time.
Yeah, he drove a couple Busch Series races, if I remember right. Former coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I think he drove a couple Busch races, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I believe you are correct. About to say, give me a little trivia out there. Joe Gibbs ain't the only one that made the football to NASCAR transition.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta love old Coach Gibbs, though. In fact, out of the all the teams that are still in real life NASCAR playoffs, I believe Hendrick, Penske, and Joe Gibbs Racing are the only 3 teams that have all their drivers still in the playoffs.
That, I believe, is correct. I believe that is correct.
And the odd man left out is Stuart Haas Racing's Kevin Harvick. So.
Yeah, because the 10 did not make it.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to not make. Speaking of Bristol, a lot of these drivers went to Bristol Saturday night to
You,
see the Cup race live in person.
you're exactly right. So some of these guys, they may be a little exhausted. We may see some fatigue out here. You know, guys like Dustin Carroll, Matt Cochran. There's a few other guys out here as well that made that trip. Just two of the notable names right there, though. And you know, I was lucky enough to meet some of those guys out in Daytona as well when we took that trip. Was able to meet good old repeat Shane Wolf, Matt Cochran, Darnell. Was able to meet Mr. Irvin, as well as Mr. Carroll as well. So a lot of guys that we were able to meet down there in Daytona. It was a good old get together, I should say.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, and they posted a lot of pictures here in the Discord. I got to check out a bunch of those earlier today. So shout out to those guys. I think that just goes to show like how much fun this league is. You know, not only is this a group of guys that gets together on Monday nights and races their hearts out against each other every Monday night, but they also get together in real life and go to races and have events and functions. So I think that's super cool.
What I just want to know. I'm looking at this right here. You can't dodge the obvious that's going on. So Nicholas Vroom. These guys are having some fun with some glitches in the track. You gotta love it.
Is he on the one at the end of pit road to the left?
Yep.
Yep, that one there. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
These guys are taking advantage of it here with a little bit left in practice. And, Vroman, what's interesting enough, he's the points leader. He has 5 NNR iRacing career wins. The rest of the field, in comparison to him, only has 1 more. So, whenever you have 5 and the rest of the field has 6, I think that's interesting enough for you right there.
Yeah, I like it. So I found this glitch here a while back. We had an extremely long test at Indy. It was like a 5-hour test. Of course, I didn't need 5 hours of testing.
Yeah.
So after about 4 hours, me and a good friend found this glitch over here. So we had a launch our car in the air competition, which looks like Nick Vroman's entering a couple of his vehicles into that.
About to say,
so that's good.
About to say, Blair Patterson Racing is going to turn into Blair Patterson Space Exploration Program.
Elon Musk, you better watch out, buddy, because I'll be launching them.
Well, right now, let's actually go talk to old Nicholas Vroman as he has some fun out there on track. Let's see if we can't pull him in here. All right, Nick, it is Blair and Expert up in the booth, and we can see you're trying to start your own space exploration program with the glitch over there, but how are you doing this evening, my friend?
It's looking good from space, man.
Well, right now you're blazing fast at the speed of light throughout this season. 5 career wins up to this point here in this inaugural season. The rest of the field only has you beat by 1, and you have been able to get the points lead. I believe you're leading now by 23 points over Nick Trader. Heading into this race, it's a lot of unknowns. Not many people have a textbook on, hey, this is how you run the trucks at Indy. So what was the preparation like coming into this race? A lot of unknowns, but knowing that you have that little bit of protection from the guys behind you in points, but also you have the momentum going into this one.
Preparation's the same, man. Try and go out here, qualify well. Qualifying well is very important in racing. And then trying to get that air, especially a track like Indianapolis with it being one groove, it's going to be very hard to pass, especially when we get older tires. So, got to try and get up front and stay up front.
Well, right now we're seeing you're near the top of the board. Surprise, surprise. This is like an every week thing for you. As we move into the second half of the season, what is your point of attack to try to defend that lead? You were mostly on the attack in the first half of the season saying, hey, I need to get to the points lead and be able to secure it before the halfway point. Now that we're past that and starting the second half of the season, what's your point of attack to defend anybody coming up there trying to take the points lead as you try to go and clinch the NNR iRacing Truck Series title?
Man, it's almost like football, man. You don't play defense; you just always attack. That's my plan. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna try and get the lead and gonna try and lead as many laps as I can get. You know, if that causes me to wreck out, that's what it is. But you know, I'm not changing anything from week one to the last race of the season.
Well, definitely, we're excited to see it. Good luck tonight, my friend. Hope to see you in victory lane. And yeah, good luck once again. We're going to send you back to race room 3. All right.
All right, thank you.
And you heard it there himself, from the man himself. He says he's going straight on the attack. There is no change in his strategy whatsoever. So, I mean, you could see right there, he's saying, you know, I'm going all in there for this race here today. And could you expect a lot of drivers to be doing the same? I mean, everyone wants to be the first ever winner here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to see a lot of aggression early on, especially on the fresh tires. Vroom Vroom just touched on the fact that it's basically a one groove track, and he's not wrong about that. The bottom's definitely going to be king here tonight. So I think you're going to see a lot of aggression early on these tire runs. Guys battling to get to the bottom to get the run that they need. So you might see a little beat and banging super early.
Well, right now, as practice concludes and qualifying begins, it's going to be interesting to see who can top the board, who's going to be out here on track, as a bunch of guys already trying to get set up to run their laps. Right now, Justin Anasagaki is going to be the first out there on track. Let's see if we can't get a view of him as he starts this lap. And let's go ahead and try to see, can we pull up his dashboard and take a look at what he is looking at on the inside of that car. Let's go and see. Okay, well, that's not what we're wanting to see. Let's go and whew. About to say that is not in miles per hour, so you gotta love it when it's not. But right now, let's go and actually take a look at his level of lap times whenever they start popping up in comparison to each other. And that's one thing that a lot of guys try to do, is make their last lap usually the fastest. They use the initial warm-up lap, and then the first hot lap as warm-up laps as well. What do you expect here at Indy for these guys qualifying? Is it all out for the first 2 laps, or do you expect these guys to just try to build up momentum for that first hot lap?
I think your out lap, you need to get up to speed. Your first timed lap, I think you need to give it all you got. Make sure tires are warmed up and underneath you. You know, don't push anything. And then that second lap, throw caution to the wind, man, and just take everything the truck will give you. I think that's the best strategy here.
Well, right now we're about to see as he is going through. It's going to be interesting to see who is able to top the charts. This is such a huge track here, so you know these guys are going to be throwing caution to the wind on who's going in and putting these times up first. Justin Anasagaki is going to be crossing the stripe here, I believe, to be the first person to put a time down. Let's see it. And he ran a 53 flat, but here comes Nick Trader, 52.97. So there's the gap between him and Nick Trader. Nick Trader going around, I believe, to run his second hot lap this time.
Yeah, it looks like Anasagak shut it off after that first lap, so we'll see what's going on there. Nick Trader top of the board. We got Jeremy Horn up there third. Arnold in fourth. Well, Tom Meredith just slipped in there. Meredith's now fourth. Vroman to the top of the sheet with a 52.84. So
Nick Trader.
Nick and Nick.
Well, I mean, that's been the story of the season up to this point. Nick Trader, though, he's looking this second lap to be faster. And let's see, is it? No, 53 flat will be that second lap, so the 52.9 will stand. Nicholas Vroman, he's trying for his second lap here to see what he will run. And you can see already running about a 10th faster than Nick Trader, now running about a 10th faster to the guy that just took over the second spot, Ray Lane, who ran a 52.9.
Ray Lane's had a ton of speed here these past couple weeks. Good to see that really strong qualifying run out of that 44 truck.
And Vroman deciding to pull it down pit road. Paul Irvin now able to close in. He's going to be the second truck running a 52.8, and a lot of guys are not running a second lap. They are deciding running just the first lap and letting that be their time. So right now, as these guys look to finish out qualifying with about a minute left, this is now your favorite part of the show, my friend.
Yeah, man, we're coming right up to pick time.
Pick time. All right, now, of course, we know how this is. We have the full board out here tonight of guys out there on track, and we know a little bit about this track. We know possibly what we could expect, but otherwise, it's still going to be very unpredictable. But now it's time for us to predict who's going to survive the unpredictable nature here of this track. So I'm going to be nice. You're returning to the booth this week, so I'm going to allow you to go first, my friend.
Oh, that's being nice. Okay.
Yes.
So, I appreciate your generosity. Jeez. Ah, man, this is going to be tough. All right. So all the things we talked about, fuel, saving tires. We need somebody smooth here. I know who I want to pick, but I know he would probably he's not a far drive from where I live.
Oh no!
So if I commentate or curse him, he might drive over here and punch me. I'm doing it anyway. 83, James Shane Wolf.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a very good one. But when I think of people that are here to try to save fuel, you know, when I think about, hey, what do we have as far as, you know, looking at, how do I put this in the best terms? When we look at guys that know strategy the best and know how to put themselves in position to win, then you got to look at certain guys that you don't necessarily see up front all the time. They may not have the speed, but strategy is usually always on their side. And I'm looking at a guy that has qualified outside of the top 10.
I think I know who you're looking at.
I'm looking at the Double Deuce, the fastest 22 in NNR history. Josh Arnold qualified P12. I think he can be the guy to go up there and win it off of fuel strategy. That's going to play a big part in this one. So expect to see that Double Deuce possibly pull it out at the end.
I like that. So you were going with all this strategy talk and maybe second guess my pick. So if I was to pick second, and you talked about strategy, not that I get two picks. I'm sticking with my 83 pick. I'm not changing it. Not changing it. But since you're talking about strategy, that number 19 is going to be one to keep eyes on, Cowboy.
You're exactly right. Probably one of the more aggressive guys as far as strategy goes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right now, as these guys get set up here, and it's so interesting just to be able to look at the Brickyard from this angle, gives you kind of those vibes of the Indy 500. Such a historic track when you think about all the greats that have been able to race here. And, you know, what's interesting enough, I was looking over the Hall of Fame inductees for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You have guys like A.J. Foyt. You have guys like Dale Earnhardt Sr. You have guys like Mario Andretti, Michael Andretti, guys that have been staples of the sport, and now you're seeing these guys try to tackle this in the Truck Series for the first time ever. You know that they want to be added to those names up there. Even though this is virtual, even though this is the esports side, you know to be able to put your name with those guys that have been able to be staples of the sport and now trying to be a staple over here of esports, you want to be one of those guys known for winning here at this track. You can consider this a crown jewel, but as these guys get set up and ready to go, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to watch these guys try to battle it out here. Nick and Nick on the front row. Behind them, it's going to be James Shane Wolf, Ray Lane, Nick Trader, Drew Trader, Justin Anisgok, Bane, Horn, Meredith. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be Matt Boone, Josh Arnold, Mr. Smith, Cardwell, Ed Robertson, McQuaid, Carroll Hampton, Cochran, and Burt. Rounding out the top 20, then it's going to be Tyndall, Kobe, Boehner, Snyder, Quinones, Diltz, Darnell, and Coe. rounding out the rest of the field as these guys round turn 3, heading into turn 4. These guys getting set up. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch here, Blair, as we head through these final few corners. You know these guys are excited. They're ready to go. I mean, how are you feeling? I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to get these guys going.
I'm over here taking deep breaths like I'd be driving this thing. Taking a couple deep breaths, know that this space truck's about to dive off here in just a second. I'm ready.
Well, right now we're about to see these guys go all over the place as we get ready to go here. Right now you're taking a look from our blimp cam. Now we're getting set up here, and for the first time in NNR history, we are green here at Indianapolis on iRacing. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Vroman working that bottom line, dives down to the inside, leads them up off of turn 1, heading into the short turn 2. Some good side-by-side racing back there. Looks like Nick Trader.
And let's take a look from the blimp cam. You can see these guys 2x2 all down the back straightaway throughout the back of the pack. Single file up front, as right now Vroman looking to pull away there from Paul Irvin once again, as right now he has built a 3/10 of a second lead to the 9 already. These guys trying to get in line to try to see if they can go catch that 95. And the one thing that we talked about in pre-race is about 3 laps into the run, we're going to see these guys starting to fall off already on tires, and those trucks are going to get uncontrollable. So they don't have much time to be able to reel each other in and try to make moves at this point. With some pretty decent grip on the tires, these guys won't have long. So I think that's why you're already seeing them get single file and saying, hey, let's just get in line and see what happens as the run goes on.
Yeah, about the first 16 trucks or so right in line. I'm watching Paul Irvin here. He's taking a little bit higher of an entry into these corners. Ray Lane behind him's been taking a little bit of a lower entry. So hopefully for Paul, that's saving him some. Ooh, Paul gets a little wiggle off the corner there. Hopefully that's saving Paul a little bit of tire, and he can hold off Ray Lane. But that 44 is looking fast and looking to capitalize on any move that 9 might make.
Yeah, and he's already looking there to the inside of that 9 machine here, as right now Vroman is enjoying what he's seeing behind him. Near 0.8 of a second lead now for that 95 machine. Now the 83 of James Shainwolf, he's going to go on the attack here in turn 2, diving it down below the 9 of Paul Irvin. He's got his teammate of Nick Trader behind him. Will he get some support to try to make this pass? Yes, he will. Down the back straightaway, the 83 and 56 hook up as they go diving now into turn 3.
Yeah, one minded design drivers hooked up nose to tail. Shainwolf and Trader trying to get under the 9 of Paul Irvin. Shainwolf clears him. Nick Trader didn't have enough to get under him, so Paul Irvin holds him off, going here back down to the front stretch.
But right now you have Nick Trader and Drew Trader right behind him, so do not be surprised if you see these guys go on the attack once again. Right now, to give you an update, your top 10, Nicholas Vroman, Ray Lane, James Shainwolf, Paul Irvin, and Nick Trader round out your top 5. Drew Trader, Justin Anisagok, Jordan Bain, Jeremy Horn, and Matt Boone rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, these guys, kind of what we expected to see. We're going to see some single file racing, as it looks like Anisagok's stepping out of line there on the back straightaway. Going to be a lot of single file racing, like Nick Vroman hinted at in the pre-race show. That bottom line's going to be king, but you see a couple of guys hunting around for some grip here early on as we're working lap 4, coming to lap 5 this time by.
Right now, let's go back in the pack and take a look at our All-Star winner from last week. This is the 64 of Ed Robertson. He's trying to make his way into the top 10 as he looks for any sort of room, trying to find clean air behind Matt Boone in that 38 Coca-Cola Chevy machine.
38 truck looks really good. I love that paint scheme that he runs on there. That red with that chrome. Really good looking truck.
Well, you got to watch out. We got Coca-Cola there in 10th, and then you got to look back there behind Robertson in 12th. You got to look that Pepsi machine of Meredith. He's looking to try to overtake that Coke machine.
Got the battle of the soda pops coming right up
Gotta
here.
love it. Right now, let's go back to the front, though, as Nicholas Roman, he's been able to edge out a 1.2-second lead here to Ray Lane. And right now, this is just smooth sailing for this 95. Nothing surprising as of yet from him. This is what we're used to seeing out of this 95 machine. And you know what? I'm going to be the first to say this. If he wins here today, I think this is going to be a statement for him to be able to say, okay, you know, this championship, this could be a lock for me. Of course, you know, a lot of races left to go. We just passed the halfway point of the season. But Nicholas Roman, he's looking to make it a open and shut case for his title bid here in the later half of the season. He talked about it in pre-race, attack, 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 no defense. Well, this is one place that he is looking to attack this track, not be at the mercy of it here. And off of turn 4, once we hit the stripe, let's go on board with him in his helmet cam. Let's see how this 95 is attacking the historic Brickyard of Indianapolis Motor Speedway here. And let's go on board here on the Expert Racing Network.
So you see him nice and smooth through these corners here, just a little lift through 2. Just try to save a little bit of his tires, try to get that nose pointed the way he wants it. Hold it straight down the back stretch. Driving well past the 1 marker. Little lift, little working the throttle through 3. Little lift getting into 4, managing that throttle a little bit. You can kind of hear those tires howling. Nice straight run off the exit here, back down the front straightaway for the 95.
And it's so impressive to be able to see that 95 be able to attain this much of a pace when you see how much he's actually backing off and conserving. That's why he's been so tough to beat this season. He's been able to mold that fine line between having speed but also conserving to have speed throughout the entire run, not just the beginning and middle of it.
Yeah, so great news for the 95. He's got his favorite thing in the world, clean air. He talks about it every time we interview him. He talks about the clean air. Bad news for the rest of the field. You got the 95 out there in clean air running his favorite line. So we got to see what some of these guys have for him as far as pit strategy, fuel strategy, see if they can out-strategy the 95, see if they can leapfrog him. When it comes down to pits, we're getting close to halfway on a fuel run. I think the early side of the window, you're going to be looking at about lap 20 on the super early side, and maybe 24 on the late side from what we talked about earlier. And we're working lap 8, now 9, so about halfway through a fuel run.
I would actually not be surprised to see guys coming in around lap 18. You could split it into those stops there around lap 20, but knowing how these guys love to work varying strategies, lap 18 could be the moment we start seeing guys start to come down. But guys are battling throughout the pack. Right now, James Shainwolf back there in P2, he was able to get around Ray Lane, and he's now sitting in that P2 position just waiting to see if that 95 makes a mistake and if he can run him down. About on pace, if not a little bit slower in comparison to that 95, that gap between him and the 95 as well. Let's see if we can't pull up the battle box between him and Roman, and you could see the entire top 7 here, the gaps between them. James Shainwolf already up 2 spots from where he was at previously as he tries to run down Nicholas Roman, about 1.5 seconds back. He's trying to find a way to eat into that time, and he's doing a pretty good job up to this point, staying on pace with him. But staying on pace is not allowing you to gain time as, contact in the back there. Multiple guys getting involved. Let's see if we can't go back there and take a look. I believe Drew Trader was involved in that.
Yeah, it looked like Drew Trader got all the way down to the inside grass. I don't think Drew Trader hit anything. Trying to take a look at his truck to see if there's any damage on it right now. Haven't seen any yet.
And right now, I believe that started out from the 9 of Paul Irvin. He's lost a lot of spots after qualifying second all the way back here in the P10 position. So that 9 has fallen off the pace. Really struggling right now in his Toyota TRD sponsored Toyota right now, and now he's going to be on the attack of Matt Boone, so he could be out of the top 10 here within a lap or two.
Yeah, that 9 definitely has some damage on the side of it. He looks like he scraped the wall there, so Matt Boone coming to work on him in the Coca-Cola truck. Then the next one back, that's going to be the Pepsi truck. But Josh Arnold in that Pennzoil truck coming up there.
And these guys, they are really battling here about through the midway point of this run. You talked about the double deuce of Josh Arnold sitting right here in the P12 position, sitting right here where he qualified. So, you know, not much of a change for him up to this point, just sitting steady, trying not to ruin what he has right now as far as trying to pass guys, just managing what he has and trying to save as much fuel as he can. He talked about he's one of the few guys that mentioned saying, hey, we could make it to lap 24 if we really wanted to, if we were able to save enough. But right now he's able to make the pass over Paul Irvin now into P11 as he looks to march his way up through the field with strategy and also the conservation method that he has right now, only one position away outside of the top 10.
I was going to say there before he passed Paul Irvin, great news is he hasn't lost any spots. Bad news is he hasn't gained any spots. But he's gone ahead and change that by picking up one on Paul Irvin there. Zach Meredith going by Paul Irvin as well. Paul Irvin has really fallen back. I think the damage is hurting that truck. I'd expect that 9 to come in as early as possible for fuel to make sense and have him start working on that damage as he's losing a lot of spots here.
And now 3 wide on the front straightaway. Would you take a look at that? These guys all battling it out. The siding kind of blocking that, but they were 3 wide down the front straightaway. Zach Meredith, Paul Irvin, and I believe that was the 77 of McQuaid. They were all battling for position down there in the front straightaway. The 77 was able to back out, so did the 9. Meredith now looking to pull away.
Yeah, there's plenty of room on this track for 3 wide racing, even 4 wide racing on the straights and in the corners. The problem is the grip in the corners. You get 2 wide, I think the bottom's just going to take off and pass the guy that's up top, just get freight trained, kind of like we've seen Paul Irvin falling back here.
And right now we talked about guys trying to gain position. Well, Shane Wolf, he hasn't gained position, but he's been gaining time. He's now gained up to 4/10 now on our leader, now 1.1 to 1.2 back from Nicholas Roman, now continuing to run P2, but he's starting to catch Nicholas Roman as we reach the later part of this run. So I'm not sure if this 83 has something left in the tank here that the 95 doesn't have, or if the 95 has just gone into extreme conservation mode, and that's allowed the 83 to make up a little bit of a pace.
The other side to that, the other thing to consider on that, Expert, you made a couple really good points there. Maybe the 95 pushed it really hard in these opening 14 laps, and the 83 didn't push it all that hard, and now the 83 has got a really strong truck to go after the 95.
Well, let's take a look at the last lap buy-in right there. 2/100ths of a second quicker was James Shane Wolf on the last lap that they ran. Now we're going to see this time by, though, Nicholas Roman a whole 10th faster. So that gives you an idea on how close these guys are on times. The consistency has gone out the window here today so far. These guys just going back and forth. One gains a little bit on the other, and then the roles reverse the next lap by. So right now these guys giving us a hard, true, gritty consistency battle here. Who can stay the most consistent? Who can try to reel each other in, or who can try to pull away? We're seeing it right now as this 83 and 95 give us that type of battle. But let's go back here, back through the field once again. And let's take a look at Paul Irvin. He has now dropped 12 spots from where he started back in now P14, and you can see that damage on the right side of that number 9 Toyota. He has not had the start he wanted to up to this point. 12 spots from where he started, like I just mentioned, and now it's going to be a comeback time for him. It's pretty much been the story of his season. He's been caught up in incidents or made a few mistakes that he's had to battle back from, and has costed him, I'd say, a few wins or a few podium positions. And now that 9's in that position once again here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like all these guys in this league, Paul's a super, super great driver. Just unfortunately, luck hasn't been on his side here the past 12 weeks. Hasn't made it to victory lane yet. He's definitely fast enough to do it, just like a lot of these guys that haven't made. Oh, and then he's in the wall again there. Man alive, tough night for the 9. But that's the thing about racing is minimizing mistakes. Whoever makes the least mistakes typically wins these things.
Well, right now we can see the battle behind them. That's the battle between Cardwell and McQuaid here for P15 as these guys continue to battle it out. Let's go actually up front up into the top 10 as the battle for the 10th spot is starting to heat up. Ed Robertson has a little bit of damage on the right side of his 64 F-150, and now Jeremy Horn trying to catch him, as well as the 17 of Zach Meredith and the 28 of Kobe. All these guys trying to get up here and catch the first ever NNR All-Star.
Yeah, 64 looks like he took a pretty hard hit to the outside wall. Not only does he have damage to the back and the spoiler on this truck, I also see a little right front damage on that 64, which air was huge at this track, of course. So that's going to be slowing him down. Look for him in the 9 to maybe spend a little extra time on pit road to see if those pit crews can help mend that truck up a little bit. Maybe they need to run down to Drew Trader's pit box, see if he's got any leftover duct tape from Birdsall.
Well, right now, the 28 of Kobe, what a move, making it 2 for 1 down the front straightaway into turn 1. He's looking to clear this 64 of Robertson, trying to battle back. It's not going to happen. The 28 of Kobe in 2 corners went from, I believe, P13 all the way to P10.
Yeah, having a really strong run here late on this fuel run. I saw Justin Diltz down pit road just a little bit ago. Hoping that's a scheduled stop for him, because if not, he is going to get ate up bad. You won't necessarily lose a lap here by pitting. If you're way in the back, you could. But these guys up front, these top 3, 4, 5 guys, they won't lose a lap as big as this track is. It's a long pit road. It's a slow pit road, but you should be able to pit without losing a lap.
And unfortunately for him, he is 1 lap down, so it, of course, isn't relative to the leader. But I believe he may have had damage there. And that's very early for pit stops, pitting on lap 15, so I do not believe that was a scheduled pit stop. But we're going to see here as we continue on here in this race. Back up front, Nicholas Roman still leading once again. And right now he is looking for the pit cycle to open. I believe his strategy is going to depend on those around him, such as Ray Lane back here in P3, 3 seconds back from the leader. But more importantly, it may depend on the second place driver of James Shane Wolf, who's only 1.2 seconds back. Once again, these guys have kind of just sat in a rhythm now and have pretty much kept the gap the same to each other, as James Shane Wolf consistently sits about the same pace now to Nicholas Roman, and we have entered the point in the race in which, hey, the pit cycle is open. Lap 20 is here, so could we see some guys going down this time by? We're about to see.
Yeah, I just got word the 44 is coming this time. Ray Lane going to be pitting in this time, so pit window is definitely open. Green flag pit stops coming your way.
Well, right now it's going to be interesting to see. Does the 83 take the bait? Nope, but the 44, he's going to be the first one to lead them down here in this pit cycle. You mentioned it right here, heading down pit road. That 44 looking to get service here, and let's see how he does going down pit road. Don't want to get a speeding penalty this early in the race, as we see him making his way down to his number 44 pit box. And let's take a look and see how he does going down pit road. He's the only one up to this point here on this lap to go down pit road. So the first early taker we see. Bold strategy. Let's see how this works out for that 44 machine.
Yeah, he's going. A lot of guys coming this way this lap here. We got Robertson, we got Cardwell, We got Nick Trader coming this time. Carroll looks like he's coming this time.
And Roman and Shane Wolf, they're both in.
So it looks like lap 21's the magic number for pitting for these guys.
And this is going to open the door for Shane Wolf. Can he get any time made up to this 95 on pit stops? We saw he was about on pace, if not a little bit faster than this 95 on the long run. Can he make up time here on pit road and see if he can't get that Mullet Mafia 83 in the lead here once we cycle out? Right now they look pretty even there on pit road. 95, of course, getting that pit stop in a little bit quicker as he was ahead of this 83. Let's see how these guys get off on the exit, as 95 is going to be able to exit pit road. Here comes the 83 behind him. Nick Trader now, he's going to follow out, and this is going to be interesting. Paul Irvin, you mentioned the damage on him. Kind of a slow pit stop. Let's see, is he going to just take the 4 tires and leave? Yes, he is. He's not even going to worry about the damage on the truck. Just want to manage on staying on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You got to stay. You got to stay on the lead lap to have a chance to be in this thing. I mean, you might be able to take 1, maybe 2 seconds of damage to get that fixed up, but you can't take a whole heck of a lot right here. Good news is he's got the leaders on pit road with him. So he could gamble it, maybe take 3 or 4 seconds, but that just puts you further and further back. What a lot of these guys need is a caution.
Well, right now, a few guys praying for a caution up to this point. Jeremy Horn and Matt Cochran both staying out. Jeremy Horn right now has the lead. Matt Cochran sitting P2, and I think he's signaling he's going in this time. So we're reaching that point in which these guys are saying, hey, we've extended as far as we can. Pretty much it was said before to us, lap 24, you're lucky to be able to make it around this time by. So I would be surprised to see any of the leftover top 5 to stay out right here as Jeremy Horn's going in. Here comes Matt Cochran, Enrique Quinones, Grandpa Coey, and Joe Darnell all still out there on track. And I believe Grandpa Coey, he's going to be staying out for another lap. So he's going to be the one to test that strategy and say, hey, I'm going for the 24th lap. So the 24 staying out for 24 laps, expect him to come in this time by.
Absolutely beautiful. If you're the 24, you got to go for the 24th lap. I mean, it only makes sense.
Oh, he is out of fuel. Right now, he is dropping pace, only going about 80 miles per hour. So this might be a caution if he doesn't make it back.
Oh, no.
As there goes Roman right by him there to resume the lead.
And he's coming off turn 2. Ah, what a rough place to run out of fuel.
And, yeah, he just got towed to pit road, so that might be the end of his race this evening.
That's just one of the worst spots to run. I mean, there's not really a good spot to run out of fuel. I guess, like, 5 pit stalls before yours is the best spot to run out of fuel. But coming off turn 2 out of gas is terrible at this 2.5 mile speedway.
Well, right now, Nicholas Roman still out front, 3.6 second lead. You talk about a gap. I want to know, I don't think there's a way we can tell. Let's see if we can see it right here. You can see the stint length out of all these guys that pitted. Ray Lane lap 20 and Scott lap 22, so you can see the difference for them. Now let's go to the pit lane time in comparison for these guys and look at that. Nearly a second difference between Roman and Shane Wolf of the pit lane time they spent on pit road, getting on and off pit road. And let's look at the pit stop time as well. Shane Wolf a little bit quicker, but that second getting on and off pit road between these guys, that really shows you how he was able to get to this 3.3 second lead.
That is incredible work by that 95 crew and the driver, picking up that time. Getting on pit road, getting off pit road, super important. That's on the driver. Run it down there to that commitment cone as hard as you can, get as much as you can. Maintain pit road speed all the way down, get a good stop in your box, and then fire off to the commitment cone out. I mean, that's amazing. Full second.
And, you know, you got to think these guys came in at 1.2 seconds apart from each other. Now the gap is 3.2 between these two drivers. So you have to think that is 2 seconds. You gain a second on pit road itself, but then also you got to think getting back up to speed. Maybe Shane Wolf got caught in some traffic, couldn't get fully up to speed, or a difference in shifts. Maybe Shane Wolf made a mistake, or Roman was just that much better on getting off and entering pit road. You got to think that 95, he's found ways to be able to make up that time. And as a former pit crew member yourself, you know how vital it is. Not many people think about it. They think, oh, well, it's all down to driver speed, but nobody really gives the appreciation to the guys down on pit road as much as you know, as much as we try to do here. I mean, you've experienced that. You're a vital part of the team as well. You're trying to go out there and say, hey, you know, we're a big part of the race as well. Without us, you know, getting the tires on the truck, getting the fuel in as well, and, you know, trying to be the fastest there on pit road, Roman may not have the lead right now. I mean, imagine if that's a 15 or 16 second stop in comparison to Shane Wolf. We could see that 83 out in the lead right now.
Oh, yeah, we see it in real life all the time. You know, pit crew makes a little mistake, hits too many lug nuts off, hits too many on, knocks one off. You know, there's all sorts of different problems that you can have. I mean, it's quite the dance out there on pit road. You know, those crew members, they're kind of like offensive linemen a lot of times. They don't get a lot of credit when things are going great, but when something goes wrong, holy cow, what's wrong with our offensive line, or what's wrong with our pit crew? So, you know, it's definitely a dance. It's a very choreographed, very practiced dance. So it ain't easy playing in traffic. I'll tell you that.
We are just killing it with the football comparisons today.
Well, you know, last pointless race, everybody had their football paint schemes on. I'm still into it.
I'm about to say, what is your favorite NFL team? The last points race we covered together for the NNR iRacing series, they ran all their football schemes. What is your team, and how are they doing so far this year?
Chicago Bears currently leading the NFC North.
About to say, Andy Dalton went down. Justin Fields more than likely going to have to start for the rest of the season. So does that make you optimistic, or are you kind of more nervous now that the Red Rocket's out?
A little nervous. I mean, I think Justin Fields was a good pickup. I think he was a good draft. I don't know about Andy Dalton being all that great of a pickup. Spent a lot of money to get him, man. Cost us a cornerback, Kyle Fuller, to get him. So I was kind of hoping, you know, Justin Fields could be under the wing a little bit, you know, and you see that in racing too. You see guys being under the wing, you know. You see the veteran driver, kind of like Ross Chastain, that, you know, Chip Ganassi right now is probably the best example. Good young driver, fast driver, with a ton of talent, and then he's got Kurt Busch there with him to help him, you know, get up to speed. And these past few weeks, Ross Chastain's been super fast. Coming next season, he's not going to have that mentor. It's going to be Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez for Trackhouse Racing. So we'll see how that works for Ross next season.
Well, I hate to interrupt you on your point there, but even though it's not for position, Grandpa Coey coming out here to try to teach this young gun and Nick Vroman something. He is all over the back bumper trying to get a lap back.
I love it. Getting the lap back the hard way. That's good fun right there.
Right now, he's been hanging on that back bumper, that 95, for a little while. He's got the fresher tires. Can he find a way around them? That's the question. A lot of guys talked about how hard it is to pass here, but Grandpa Coey, he is not letting up without a fight. He is here for this, not position, but to try to get his lap back. Currently sitting 28th, a few laps down. Not sure exactly how many, but we know he is a good few laps down, and he is trying to get back on the lead lap.
I was just looking at Grandpa Coey's truck. There's a front bumper on that thing. Let's use it. Move that 95 out of the way, man. You need your lap back.
About to say, go get it, Grandpa Coey, as right now we're about 10 laps away from pit road reopening once again. As we talk about how many pit stops we saw the gap that Vroman was able to build up on that first one. Just imagine, we got more pit stops to go. So the big thing is we looked at the first pit stop, Vroman took a huge opportunity to build up that gap between him and Vroman. Now here is another opportunity for him to possibly try to go out there and build more time, but in the reverse of that as well, in the contrary, that could be an opportunity for him to make a mistake, for something to happen on pit road, and Shane Wolf is right back in the mix.
Yeah, that definitely could happen. I mean, we're still super early in this race. I mean, we're not even a third into this thing. There's so much that could go on. I mean, at this point in the program, you know, you kind of want to start engraving Nick Vroman's name into the trophy, but we're only about a third into this race, so ton of stuff left to happen here.
And we have a close battle right here for P6. And it is the hometown boy of Kobe here in the 28. He's to the inside of Drew Trader. He is our biggest mover this race. So talk about the hometown kid coming out here trying to battle for P6, trying to make his way up through the field. Biggest mover up 17 spots from where he qualified. He's trying to make his way towards the front.
Yeah, he's using that home field advantage right here. You know, Indy's important to everybody. It's a crown jewel race to everybody. It's really important to people from Indiana. I mean, this is, you know, the month of May, that's all they talk about in that state is the Indy 500 for an entire month. So having a good run here to a hometown boy, I mean, this is important. So shout out to that 28 being super fast tonight.
And we've heard stories like growing up in racing and being around racing about how important it was to guys like Jeff Gordon when NASCAR announced they were first coming here, looking to add the Brickyard to the schedule. A lot of skepticism there, but Jeff Gordon was a big supporter of it. Of course, from California, moved to Indiana to find his way to try to get to open wheels in IndyCar, but found his way into stock car racing, and it was a dream of his to compete at Indianapolis and try to win here, coming out and winning the first ever NASCAR Brickyard 400 here. That was a big moment for Jeff Gordon. Could Kobe find a way here in the later half of this race to make his way towards the front? It looks like it's a pretty big gap to do, but he's already got 17 spots. You know, what does 5 more hurt?
You know, if he does it, somebody's going to have to key up some Jim Neighbors back home again in Indiana for him for Victory Lane. Have to find some milk, maybe a wreath, you know, all the things. Yeah, all the things for Indy, man. You gotta do them all. Kiss the bricks, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Well, right now he's getting to challenge Matt Boone all over the back bumper of that 28 F-150 as these guys are trying to push their way up to the top 5. Nick Schrader about a second ahead of him. And right now Kobe trying to reel his way in. He wants to get to the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Nick Schrader just there ahead of him. That's a tough one to pass. I mean, we've seen a ton of speed out of Nick Schrader all season long. So getting to him's one thing. Getting past that 56 is going to be another. That's
Whoa,
for sure.
Okay, we have a battle up here. These guys got close and almost touched. Ray Lane had to get out of the throttle huge down the front straightaway. Got loosened up there by the 18 of Anasagok. And now Anasagok moving his way into P2. James Shanewolf, the first to lead these guys down pit road in this part. He's going after those fresh tires, trying to see if he can try to eat into that gap of the 95 of Nicholas Vroman.
Looks like Shane Wolf's behind the wall right now. I don't know what happened to Shane Wolf, but it looks like he's behind the wall.
And that is not good at all. We saw that he was in pits, but you're exactly right. He has been towed off, and he is behind the wall now. So not good at all for that 83 who had done so well up in this race, was running P2, and now to be behind the wall and now dropped all the way to 27th. That's got to be heartbreaking there for that 83 team, part of One Mind Two Design Motorsports.
Man, hopefully he doesn't find out that I picked him, and hopefully he's not on his way to my house.
Oh no. Oh no.
If you hear any loud knocking sounds, we're gonna go ahead and ignore those
About to say.
until the end of the race.
About to say. We've heard stories of streamers getting raided. Blair. I don't think you're gonna get swatted. I think you're gonna get Shane Wolfed.
I might get wolfed. I'm more than a little nervous about this.
It's okay. Just try to stay focused. You're going to be fine. Just let's keep an eye on the action we have here.
All right, we got the expert playing crew chief and spotter helping me out. Thank you so much, calming me down. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
About to say that's probably what a number of these guys out here on track are doing. We've seen a little bit of contact here and there, and this has got to be frustrating for a lot of these guys that have been battling through this adversity here. But one guy who is continuing to surprise everyone, our biggest mover now 19 spots, Kobe has made his way into the 4th position.
That is awesome. Hometown boy having a super good run here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's good to see. We haven't seen Kobe up towards the front a whole lot this season, so good to see him having a really awesome run.
I'm about to say at the home track it's got to be that much special, or that much more special, should I say. But right now, probably about 1 lap away from that pit cycle actually being officially open here. Justin Dilt's already having to go down. He had to make that unscheduled pit stop on lap 15. That kind of messed with his strategy. So he's hurting and hoping for a caution. But right now, that 28 of Kobe, he's continuing to gain spots, hoping to eat into the gap between him and Ray Lane. But right now, Roman still your leader, leading by 6.5 seconds over Justin Anisagok, who is trying to run him down right now. Ray Lane in P3, Corey Kobe in P4, Matt Boone P5, Drew Trader P6, Nick Trader P7, Josh Arnold P8, Zachary Meredith P9, and Cardrell rounding out your top 10.
Sounds like 16's coming this time by.
And that's going to be the 16 of Jordan Bain, as he currently sits P19. So not the best race from him. We usually see him up in the top 10, but Indy has just provided too much of a challenge, it seems like, for that 16 machine. But he is hoping to find a way to rebound as we are nearing the halfway point of this one.
That we are, my friend. That we are coming up to the halfway here. Working lap 40 right now. Should be seeing these guys start hitting pit road real soon. Getting 4 fresh tires and fuel in these things and taking the battle back out. Now, the big thing to watch is this gap with Roman and Anisagok. It's almost a 7-second lead that Roman has. If he pulls another 3-second or 2-second gap, on this green flag stop, that is going to be almost insurmountable for anybody.
Well, Ray Lane, he's going to head in now. Justin Anisagok still holding on to that 7-second gap. And the one thing I didn't think about when we were talking about original strategy, we talked about how much strategy could play into this race. We've seen a lot of guys head down around lap 20 or around lap 21, those 20 to 21 lap gaps in pit road. But when you think about lap 23, lap 24, looking at guys like Cochran, who was able to stay out Jeremy Horn, you really have to think if you're one of those guys out there, you could save a pit stop in comparison to the rest of these guys. That could very well be a possibility, or you can gain about 10 seconds on pit road from taking a splash to having to take, a full 4 in fuel. So look at the gaps there between those guys that we've seen extending these pit stops to now the guys that'll be heading in early. Expect Nick Roman to head down this lap or the lap afterwards.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing to keep in mind, like you just touched on. Might be saving a stop at the end or having a short stop at the end. So we still got a long way to go to get there. We're not quite the halfway yet, but all this strategy plays out in these long races, especially at these really tough racetracks like Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And like I said, I would not be shocked to see these Cowboy Motorsports guys, Jeremy Horn and Matt Cochran. These guys have been known to be the ones to throw a wrench in strategy, and I would not be surprised to see it work. We're seeing we're seeing with their possible strategy, it could save them a pit stop. And, you know, as it's always been known, you're faster whenever you're out there on track than you are in pit road.
It is a proven fact that even if you're slow on old tires, you're still faster than a guy sitting still. That is true.
But right now, considering the only car that is within a single second gap from Nick Vroman is Anasagak. He's 7 seconds back. Third place of Kobe, 17 seconds back.
Seeing the one-minded design, Trader Brothers coming down pit road right here. Other guys still staying out, like the 81, a Horn. Gonna start seeing some more pit stops, I have a feeling.
Oh, Nick Trader missing his box. So that is, he slid right through and missed it.
And that's really easy to do here because the outside of pit road where you drive down is concrete, or asphalt rather, where the actual box is concrete. So when you hit those brakes coming into the box, it's easy to slide through these things.
Well, right now, he's going to have to try to get back up to speed. Leader Nick Vroman, Corey Kobe, Matt Boone, Josh Arnold, Meredith, and Tyndall all down pit road right now. As you can see, that 95, he's going to be able to take a smooth entry into his box and try to get service to that 95 F-150.
Taking a look here, see how long some of these guys are going to be pushing it. And no surprise, Matt Cochran's one of the guys pushing it.
Matt Cochran still out. Justin Anasagak, Jeremy Horn, Forrest Smith, Cole Snyder. Your top four. Matt Cochran looking to gain positions there on pit road still. Here comes Justin Anasagak down pit road. Jeremy Horn, if he stays out on track, will be the next guy out there to try to maintain this lead spot here. Let's see if he heads down this time or if he's going to stretch it out another lap. And a lot of these guys that can stretch it, I would not be surprised to see them be able to stay out till about lap 47 to maybe 48. 48 would definitely be pushing it, but around lap 47 would be a area in which we could see these guys coming in.
Yeah, a whole lot of shakeup going on right now as these guys are cycling green flag pit stops. Trying to take a look at Vroman, see where he is on track. I got him there, P3. Just wanted to see where he was going to cycle out here.
And a big thing for these guys that are staying out on track, they're really hoping for a caution at this point to be able to, you know, have this track position. They'll lose it, though, if they have to go down and pit under said caution, which of course they will. But to be able to have that track position, be up front, and know you'll have the freshest tires out of the field, you'll be stacked back up together. All these guys that are out here, they'll already be struggling on those tires. We talked about in the pre-show, these guys mentioned after 3-4 laps, the truck goes crazy. It's so hard to race with, but you know, the guys that are on fresh tires, expect them to be able to make moves if these guys were to get stacked back up. Jeremy Horn still out here on lap 46, has yet to go down pit road. And Nicholas Roman eating into the gap between him and Jeremy Horn, now only 7 seconds.
Yeah, he's going to be giving up a lot of time to Vroman on those fresh tires.
And that's the point right there that we're making if a caution were to come out.
Absolutely. So Horn's playing the long game here. Might be saving that pit stop late, not needing it. Then he's also rolling the dice on a caution right here. So I like this strategy. If you don't have a truck that's running in the top 3, 4, 5, roll the dice a little bit. See what you can make happen.
Well, that 81's doing a great job. Matt Cochran also staying out with his teammate. So both these guys playing with this strategy, still running in the top 5.
Looks like 81 just radioed. He's coming in this time.
And I think he's going to be forced to. The 81 might be out of fuel.
Oh, no.
Yeah, his engine is It sounds like he is possibly done. Let's see if we can't go to the cockpit and find out. But yeah, it sounds like his engine was out.
Yep, 81 out of fuel.
Yeah, and you can see no engine revs. It is cutting in and out. 81 out of fuel. And now going back, let's go to Ray Lane here. And that is very tough for the 81 to deal with. His teammate though, the 19, Matt Cochran, was able to make it to pit road here pretty well. Let's see how he does getting on pit road. Doing pretty well himself. That 19 Toyota able to make it down pit road, and now he's gonna try to see what he can do as far as carrying this strategy along. It wasn't able to get him out to the lead, but was able to put him in a top 5 position. And now I think that's gonna end the strategy possibilities there for Jeremy Horn, as he has lost so much time both on track and now in pit road trying to get back to his box. As right now, yeah, he's just cruising down pit road. You can see it right there with that camera angle. But now Nick Vroman resuming the lead. Ray Lane has fought his way back to P2, now about 6 seconds back.
Yeah, so he cut in that lead a little bit. Vroman had about a 7-second lead coming to that green flag stop. It's now about a 6-second lead now. So that's definitely saved a little bit of time. Let's hope that he's got some speed. You get up there and keep chewing into that lead.
And for those 16 live viewers out there in chat, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Expert Racing Network. Be sure, if you haven't already, follow. Definitely, we are trying to reach our goal of 250 followers by the end of the month. So please follow the channel here of XR Network. Join the Expert Racing community to stay up to date with all the action here of the NNR iRacing Truck Series. And be sure to catch us week after week for more great truck racing action here. Also, you're going to see much more POV material coming out as far as our iRacing League Race material and stuff, as well as the conclusion of the Under the Lights Lights Out division. Once we get the technical difficulties out of the way over there, you'll be seeing the conclusion of their series coming to the channel as well. So definitely a lot of content you do not want to miss. Rowdy Burns out there in chat saying, great broadcast tonight so far, Expert and Blair. Well, thank you very much, my friend. And for those who are already following, be sure to share the channel. Let your family and friends know what's going on here. Bring them out in chat and have them share the experience with you as y'all get to enjoy the great NNR iRacing action here once again. And for those who are big fans of the Expert Racing Network in the community, be sure to support us as well. Go to streamlabs.com/XR Network, where you can donate to the channel. You can also go and check out some of our great merchandise there. You can get your own Expert Racing hat, shirt, stickers, sweatshirts. You know it's getting wintertime. You're going to need a sweatshirt, so go over there and check it out and rep the Expert Racing brand. Show your Expert Racing community spirit. Or if you need a little pick-me-up every now and then, of course, go to rogueenergy.com. Use promo code EXPERTRACING for 10% off your order. I got to recommend taking the starter kits and also the fruit punch flavor from their hydration series. You'll be able to get your own shaker. You'll be able to get some of the supplement packs, the energy packs to try out. Very good products over there at rogueenergy.com. Like I said, fruit punch hydration series is probably my favorite. Gotta love the cookies and cream supplement shakes as well, and the blue raspberry energy drink. So a lot of great products over there. Go check them out. rogueenergy.com, promo code EXPERTRACING. Two laps worth of promos.
Well, I was going to say, since we're talking about it, we're only like 12 followers away from 250 followers. Isn't that right?
Around there, yes, 12 followers. We started the stream with, we're currently sitting at 238.
Hey, there you go.
So we're nearing it. We're nearing it, ladies and gentlemen. We are nearing it.
If anybody can do it, I know this chat can.
Definitely got to love all the viewers out there from the Expert Racing Network. And right now, talking about loving what they're seeing, Vroman, he's got to love what he's seeing right now. Just cleared track, a few lap cars here and there, but he's got a 9-second gap to second place, and he is just trying to cruise away with this one as we are just now past the halfway point.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Just past halfway here. Vroman's sitting in his favorite spot. Everything looking really good for that 95 truck. Not much ahead of him. Gonna have a couple of lappers here and about a lap or two as they're entering turn 1 as he's crossing the start-finish line. '95 looking strong as always here tonight.
And what's interesting enough, we've talked about throughout so far this year the how well he's been able to do this season. But I mean, the last points race didn't even finish in the podium. I believe he finished in the last race. I don't even know if he finished in the top. I don't even know if he finished in the top 10. No, the last points race we ran at the iRacing Super Speedway finished 29th. So now this is more of a redemption race. He went from winning the race previous to finishing 29th. Now he's coming back here trying to build up the momentum once again for the second half of the season. And what a better way to do it than trying to go out here and win. But now he's going to have to battle with Jeremy Horn, and we know he's one of the toughest guys out here on track. If he's a lap car, he's just going to let him go, let him by, let him get that lap back. He does not want to waste time trying to keep that 81 a lap down.
Yeah, and the other thing about the 81 is he's got fresher tires, so he could probably put up a heck of a fight there if he wanted to.
Let's go back to the field. Right now, a continued close battle throughout this one has been between Corey Colby and Matt Boone. Right now sitting 4th and 5th respectively. Corey Colby trying to make his way toward the top 3. He knows, we know he wants that podium interview here at his home track. He's got just a little under 50 laps to go do it, but right now the gap between him and Justin Anisagok about 8 seconds, and he's looking to try to run that gap down.
Yeah, Anisagok and Lane, they're pretty close. They're within a second of each other. Kobe about 8 seconds back. Boone about a second back off of Kobe. And then 7 seconds back to Drew Trader.
And it seems like Ray Lane may have an issue. He lost a bunch of time right there. Justin Anisagok was able to get back to P2. Not sure what's going on with Ray Lane, but he is dropping pretty quick.
Let's take a look here at that 44, see if we can see anything. Don't see any damage on the back. Don't see any damage on the front. Maybe just got a little bit out of the groove there. Not really sure.
Not sure, but in the last lap, he has lost a second to Anisagok and has lost 2 seconds to Nicholas Roman. So really been out of shape is that 44, and you can see if you could get a good view behind there, just about half the straightaway back is Corey Colby. So these guys, you know, that gap is not as big as that 44 wants it to be. I will say that.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, he definitely had a problem there. Not exactly sure what happened on the 44, but Corey Colby definitely wants to capitalize on that and get yet another spot.
And as these guys try to push their way up to the front, they're going to have lap cars in the way. And let's try to see if we can look at our blimp cam once again, the Expert Racing Network blimp. Let's try to see if we can't get a view of this battle in between them. Right now, that 44 coming off of turn 4, and no, that gap too big to be able to see from our blimp cam up to this point. Going to go back to our TV2 cam, and right there you can see Corey Colby back there a little bit right now as the 44 dives into turn 1. They're going to be crossing the starting stripe, and right now let's go back there to Mr. Kobe himself, and let's take a look. He's still got Matt Boone with him, about a tenth between them right now as they continue to try to make their way through lap traffic and try to make their way up to the front. Right there, though, now less than a tenth. Matt Boone all over the back bumper trying to push him down the straightaway. These guys really trying to work their way back up to the front, working together, and we talked about it in pre-race. A lot of guys were saying if you want to be successful here, you're going to have to find a dance partner. Well, I think these guys have found their dance partner for this one, as these guys have pretty much been inseparable once they found each other.
Yeah, and speaking of dance partners, we got Nick and Drew Trader back here working together. Nick is a lap down, if I am not mistaken. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, 1 lap down.
Yep.
And he's trying to help Drew up here through the field, but Drew's going to be under attack by 17 and Meredith. This is all happening back here at about P7.
And I believe it's all due to Drew Trader. He's got a lot of damage to the right side of that number 25 machine. So he is dealing with a lot of aero problems right now, but able to keep it in the top 10. Very impressive.
Yeah, tough night for the One Mind to Design guys. Here, just past the halfway point, coming to lap 60. We saw Shane Wolf had to retire early. 25's got some damage on the side, hurting the aero on that truck of Drew Trader. Nick Trader a lap down, so kind of a rough night for the One Mind to Design team.
And for those out there in chat, Mama Poot out there in chat saying, who is the 73? Well, that's Bert. He's sitting right here on pit road dealing with some damage, I believe. So he's not having the best race as of right now. But back to this battle here for P4. I wouldn't necessarily call it a battle. These guys have just been working with each other through the field. Kobe and Boone continue to be locked up here on the straightaways as they try to chase down Ray Lane and the rest of this top 3. And losing time to Vroman, even though they're working together, but they are gaining time on the guys in front of them.
Yeah, Vroman just had to work through a little lap traffic there. Speaking of our leader, he's made it through there. Looks like that was the 71 of Hampton and the 92 of Carroll that he just got around.
And the 44 of Ray Lane just had to go down and pit. So that once again, green flag pit stops are opening up. But officially, and we get to say it, Corey Colby, he's now in the top 3.
Saw Joe Darnell going down pit road as well.
And now this is a big question to save themselves from going a lap down. How long did these guys stay out? Not many people have the ability to be able to stay out that long. I'd imagine Matt Cochran will still try to stay out to stay on the lead lap or get back on the lead lap if a caution were to come out. So staying out, trying to extend as far as you can to get back on the lead lap, that could be the strategy the 19 can play.
Yeah, the big thing on that, we talked about the last green flag pit stop cycle, is if you can end up saving a pit stop, if you lose a lap right now and you're going to gain it back later and your track position's still going to be okay, that'd be a gamble I would consider. But if you're not going to be saving a pit stop, there's no need to push it, because the way these tires fall off, you're going to be giving up way too much time to these leaders. So I would have to know the individual fuel strategies on each guy to make a really good guess at it.
But right now, these guys using the drafted guys coming out of pit road to try to get back and try to gain some time here. Right now, we saw Corey Colby use the 12 of Joe Darnell for a little bit of draft here, as well as now going down the front straightaway. Look at the gap that 12's been able to pull already. You can barely see them now with this camera view, as that just shows the difference in fresh tires even getting up to speed in comparison to old tires.
Yeah, those fresh tires just have so much more grip. They're gonna have a ton more speed. Oh no, Nick Trader behind the wall now. So another one-minded design truck behind the wall.
And right now for Shane Wolf, Burt, and Trader, that seems to be their night. I believe the first car still running officially out on track is going to be Grandpa Coey sitting in 25th. So right now that is the last active car out there on track. And what's impressive enough is how long a lot of these guys have been able to stay out on track. And right now we talked about them working together, where here comes Matt Boone around Corey Colby now on the front straightaway. He's looking to make a move here. Lap 64 of 100. He puts himself in that third place spot, as now we are nearing what I would assume would be the time for a lot of these guys to start heading down pit road, talking about Vroman or the 28 of Kobe, guys like that, that'll be saying, hey, okay, now it's time for me to go down pit road.
Looks like Vroman's coming this time. 38, 28, they're all coming this time, following Vroman in.
And the 18, he's going to decide to stay out another lap. He's going to take the lead for the time being and try to see if he can get a caution and see if he can't stay out on track. Because right now, if he were to catch a caution, the most interesting thing about this as this strategy goes on is that he would be in pretty good position, I'd say. He would, the rest of these guys, they'd be on, 1-2 lap older tires, but we talked about it, that 3 lap minimum, guys start saying, is where the tires change 3 laps into the run. So if he can go down, these guys be on 1 or 2 lap older tires, and he be able to go down under caution, he would only drop to P7. 6 other guys in front of you on older tires in comparison to you. I mean, that would be huge.
I'll take it any day of the week. If you're handing it out, that'd be excellent for the 18. But I think the 18's coming in this time.
Next car on track to potentially take this strategy will be the 84 Smith. Not sure how long he'll be able to stay out, though. He is struggling right now with the tightness of that car. Just seen him overdrive turn 3 and 4 right there, and now he is getting passed by the 88 Tyndall there to get a lap back. So we saw that's how big of a change it is. Right now, if this strategy were to now work in the favor of the 84, he would go, instead of it being P7, now we're looking at P17. That's where the 84 would drop to. So look at the difference between the 84 and the 18 on this strategy, and that just shows you the gaps here, how much that means for these different type of strategies on trying to extend as far as you can.
Yeah, he worked a huge gap here. Taking a look at Vroman now. He's running P3, which we assume he will reassume the lead. Sounds like 84 is coming in this time by, so that'll put the 95 back on point. And that gap to Ray Lane is about 4 seconds, what it looks like right now.
And caution is out. And who is it? I believe we saw a car down the front straightaway. I'm trying to find out who. We saw a car down the front straightaway having some issues with fuel. Not sure who it is, but caution number 1 is out. And do you want to say it, or should I?
Go for it.
This changes everything.
Really does.
And now the strategy call, you may have just gone down pit road, but if you're the guys that are at the tail end of this lead lap, knowing that these leaders have to stay out, they're already going to be well within 2-3 laps on their tires. Are you going in and taking 4 more even though you just put some on?
Yes.
Are you forced to save that set?
No, I'm. Let me look at this here, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. So if I'm Basically, Bane on back. Bane's P11. So on my timing scoring, I'm showing 16 guys on the lead lap. We'll get a wave around, so 17 on the lead lap. If I'm outside of the top 10, I'm coming putting 4 tires on it unless I just pit. If I have less than 1 lap of speed on my tires, I'm coming in.
So if you're Smith, you're staying out. He extended it the furthest. So if you're Smith, you're staying out. Everybody else, you're going in outside of the top 10.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay. And Pete is saying out there in chat, rack them and stack them. And I got to quote Pete on it. These guys are coming down for 4 fresh feel goods and some fuel. Tongue twister there. I can't do it as good as Pete. Don't blame me. But he's going to give me the rookie comment. I already know. But these guys coming down for 4 fresh feel goods and fuel. Let's see who actually takes that strategy call and who stays out pit road open this time by. And here comes the 95, the 9 of the 9 of Paul Irvin looking. The 81's going to go down. I believe that's going to be the 7. Actually, no, it's going to be the 09 of Boehner. So some of the guys that are a lap down. And Matt Cochran, who was in P6, he's going to go down. So he was one of the few guys to go down inside the top 10. Here we go. More are coming down now in the top 10. We're looking at Matt Cochran. We're looking at Jordan Bain, Enrique Quinones, Tyndall. All these guys that were outside of the top 10 are going down. Matt Cochran, the only one that was inside of the top 10, deciding, hey, I like my chances on 4 fresh feel goods.
Yeah, the other thing to think about here is you can't make it on fuel. We're going to be 28 laps to go.
But for the guys that
27?
For the guys that just pit, that opens up you for a splash and go. The rest of these guys, they got to take 4 in fuel, right? They got to fill it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So pit strategy coming into play here. It's going to get real interesting this last 20-some laps, whatever we're going to get. Probably going to be 27 is going to be my guess.
Well, right now, Matt Cochran, who led these guys down pit road, he's going to be the first on 4 fresh there in 13th. And looking at the comparison between him and Forrest Smith, you got to look, the guy on the oldest tires in the top 10, or the guys that stayed out, Hampton in 11th. Then you got Ray Lane that's in 2nd, both pitted on lap 60. Right now, Vroman Anasagok, Boone, Kobe, they got more of the newest tires, and Snyder as well, lap 64, 65. Now you're looking at Smith, lap 66. He's the one on the freshest of the ones who stayed out, P12. And then looking at 13th on back on the lead lap, all pitting this time by lap 68.
I'm really concerned for this 44 truck. That's the one I'm most worried about right now.
But what makes this interesting, we saw James Shanewolf be able to stay on pace with this 95, especially into the longer run when he was able to be out there on track. Now with the 18, he's starting behind this 95. He's going to be able to be in that preferred line, and he's got a lap fresher tires. So is the 18 in the catbird seat to possibly pass this 95, or is just that 95 too good? I mean, we're going to be restarting here probably with about 30 laps to go, maybe 29 laps to go.
I really like where that 18 is. I'm really nervous about that 44 on the top side. I feel like Boone's going to have trouble unless he can get clear and get down to the bottom. In that 38, that 44, I'm pretty nervous.
I'm going to point something out because Pete just said it out here in chat. Look at who is in that third row.
I see Corey Kobe and Josh Arnold.
I mean, that third row, they got some strong contenders, in my opinion. We got the hometown guy, and then we have the master of saving. I'm just saying, we got some contenders up here that may be able to take that 95 off the pedestal. And now 30 laps to go. This is our first caution up to this point. I would not be surprised to see these guys go all out here. But as the pace truck pulls off, we're going to be going back green here once again. 95 looking to lead them to the stripe as they get stacked up. And here we go. 95 leading them back again. Drew Trader getting pushed out of line there. But here we go, looking to dive it off into turn one. The 95 taking the lead. He's able to clear the first two rows. Here comes Anderson Gok, not able to get clear past the 44. Going to stay stuck side by side through turn one, but through turn two, he's hoping to get the advantage, in which he does. Going to be able to clear past the 44, and now it's all about, can he catch this 95? Can he get in the line? He's got help behind him, but what is he going to be able to do with it?
I'm really impressed at how fast Ray Lane was through those first two corners. Not surprised that Anderson got by him, but he's hanging on to P3 right here, which I thought that was going to be really, really hard for him on those older tires. But shout out to Ray Lane in that 44 truck, doing an awesome job hanging on to that thing.
And one thing I want to point out, Matt Cochran is letting guys by. He's on 4 fresh tires. And we mentioned in the fuel strategy, there's a 4-lap difference of what you need to save to be able to make it. A 4 to 5 lap difference. Can you save that in 30 laps?
I don't think so. I mean, you got to remember, this is a 2.5 mile track, so you're talking, 4 laps. It's. I wish I had a calculator. Does anybody got a calculator?
Larry!
Larry!
He's still locked in the room.
It's like 10 miles. I don't know. Chat's gonna correct me. Like this guy's a big dummy.
Okay,
and
so
math, but.
So 2.5 times 4, I believe that would be 10.
Hey, look at that! I got it right.
Yeah, and then you gotta look. 12.5 will be 5 laps. So 10 miles for 4, 12.5 miles for 5 laps. You're looking at the difference there for these guys out there on track, for the ones who can possibly save. I mean, it's improbable. But another question is, we talked about how could the 18 fare on 1 lap newer tires? Well, he's to the back bumper, less than a tenth between him and Roman. He is there.
All over the back door of Roman right now in that 18 truck. Just following the tire tracks of the 95 down to the bottom there. Let's see if this 18's got anything for him. Look for him to peek out here, coming down the front straight.
Get a little bit of clean air on that nose. And he's going to back it off in the corner. You can see on the relative, he loses about a tenth on corner entry, but he gains it back on the straightaway. And you want to know what that's telling me? He's trying to save his tires. He's not pushing it. He's trying to save it and let the 95 pull him along in this track. And that could really help set this 18 up to make a move here in the later stages.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot for Roman right there. He needs to run hard to protect the lead. He's got a fast truck. We've seen it all night. But if that 18 is that fast right now and saving tires, that could be treacherous for the 95 later on in this run.
Well, I think he's hearing you, because now he's split off that gap and is now trying to gain time on the straightaway. Now that gap is 2 car lengths, and that 18 now he's going to have to press to catch back into that gap. So what we're seeing a chess match between 2 of the top drivers here in the NNR iRacing series.
I like the angle that the 95's taking into the corner. He's taking more of an arc in, where the 18's going in a little bit shallower. I like the way that 95's entering. Let's see how this works for the 18, but I think that 95's entry into the corner is going to be a little bit better off for him.
But right now, that 18, what he has to do, and I think you're going to be in agreement to this, you got to find a way to get him off that bottom, get him off the white line in the corner. That's the only way you're going to have a chance to pass this 95.
Yeah, you're just going to have to get aggressive if you're the 18 of Anasagak. You're just going to have to get aggressive and stick your nose in there as soon as you get an opportunity. Don't wreck a guy. Don't be hacky about it, of course. But if because this late entry, this late apex that the 95's running, he's opening that door for you to look in there. As soon as you can get there, take it, man. Stick the nose of that Toyota in there, and then that Ford's going to have to go up the track, and you should be able to power off.
Well, what's going to be interesting enough is that next time by, if you want to be technical, next time by is when this fuel window opens.
Yeah, it's way too early for all these guys this time by, because you'd want to split your tires. You know, we all know how much tires fall off here at Indianapolis. You know, yeah, you could do it on fuel from here, but you're basically going to waste this set of tires.
But,
so the good news is you can run a little bit on the set and then get that next set on.
But the idea also, we know how quickly these tires fall off as well.
Yeah. I'd be looking for maybe 5 more laps, 10 more laps on these tires.
I'm looking in. This is going to be my marker right here. If I'm crew chiefing these guys right now, my marker, I'm looking about lap 17. 17 to go. That's where I'm looking at.
It's a good spot. I really like it. I like it a lot.
Because that opportunity, you take less fuel in the truck, you have the availability to take, if you get split up between guys taking 2 tires or guys taking 4 tires, you have time to be able to run into those gaps and be able to make up time. So about 17 laps to go, it allows you to be very versatile.
Caution.
And, okay, I said it last time. You want to say it this time?
This changes everything.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, 23 laps to go. Well, throw my stat book out the window.
Yes, sir.
Larry's not here to give us the average lap of the last caution, but throw the stat book out the window.
Yeah, we gave Larry the night off because this is the first time trucks being at Indianapolis. He doesn't have a whole lot of trends to talk about. Larry Mack can enjoy his wine, enjoy a cigar. He gets the night off again. 2 weeks, 2 points races in a row.
And let's see if we can back it up. I believe it comes from Ray Lane, and yeah, I don't know if he got help. He may have. No, he just gets loose off the corner trying to get into pit road and locks him up, trying to get as aggressive of an entry as he can, and just slams the pit road barrier. So that's going to be really hurt that 44. A lot of damage to the front of his machine, and that might be the end of the race for Ray Lane as he continues to sit on pit road. But rack him and stack him. Yeah,
it's a really tough break for the 44, man. He was having a super strong run. I expect everybody coming down pit road for 4 fresh fuel goods to top it off with all the fuel you can get in it. Right now, as a crew chief, you're telling your gas guy, get it full. You're telling your pit crew, you're telling your jackman, wait on gas. Because with 20-some laps to go, you're going to need every bit of it.
Well, with this question, though, looking at guys like Matt Cochran and Tyndall, and I want to go and actually look at Matt Cochran and look at his, let's go to his onboard and his helmet cam. If that truck is on, I'll be surprised. It is, but it's running in 4th gear. He's not running anything above 3,000 RPM. So right now he is really settling right now to try to save as much fuel as he can under this caution. And yeah, he is consistently shifting down to be able to accelerate, but shifting back up. But now all these guys going in except, and here we go, Jordan Bain, Matt Cochran, both staying out.
Rolling the dice, cowboy, man. He's all about rolling the dice on strategy. You gotta love it.
Jordan Bain, though, unfortunately has some damage, but he's going to take over the lead position, and you got to think these are the guys who pitted under that previous caution while everybody else stayed out. So, I mean, and we talked about Cochran really backed off under this restart. He didn't battle with anybody. It looked like he was more just running half pace and being fine, just staying on the lead lap. This really opens the door now. I think if these guys are able to save enough under this caution, this really opens the door for them to be able to make it. And we know cautions breed caution, so I think maybe one more caution, these guys will be good on fuel.
Yeah, but I'm nervous about tires at this point. I mean, we're about
That is true.
10 laps on that run. Sure, Cochran wasn't running that super hard on that 10 laps, but I mean, heck, still 10 laps, man. I love to see it. I love to see the different strategy and trying something to get your truck up front. But if I'm over there in the Cowboy pit, I've chewed off all my fingernails by now.
Well, you want to know somebody who tried something new to try to get up front? This 98 of Enrique Quinones sitting P6. 2 tires and a splash of fuel, my friend.
Woohoo! 2 tires, man. Whew. Scares me. He's braver than I am. He's a lot braver than I am, man.
Oh, Lordy. These guys
These
definitely making it interesting here today. And I think the last time we seen a caution at the end like this, in which Roman was not in the lead, I think that 95 got himself caught up in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think that was Chicagoland, wasn't it?
And also iRacing Super Speedway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How quick I forget.
And just a reminder, my friend, we talked about it earlier. Roman, even though he was one of the top guys at iRacing Super Speedway, was very fast there, working with the 18 of Justin Enstagok, the guy he's battling here as far as overall pace at the end of this one. He finished 29th. So that just gives you, if I'm the 95, he's been very good as far as keeping himself a composed driver, but yeah, I mean that has to loom in the back of your mind coming to this restart, especially starting behind the 16 of Jordan Bain has a little bit of damage to that truck and is also on old tires. It's an 11 lap difference on tires. You got to be thinking in the back of your head, you know, what is available to me? What can I do? It's nerve-wracking, I can tell you that. I'm just sitting up here in the booth. I know you're quiet. Your mind's probably going a million miles a minute just like I am. I mean, that you can literally feel the tension building for these drivers out there on track.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to figure out all the strategy, and
you might just want to throw the pen and paper out the window because I think the strategy has gone out the board here. It's just, you know, go all out, give what you got, and just don't look back.
95 playing it smart, staying off the back bumper of the 16 in case he spins the tires. Green flag back in the air. 16 gets a good launch. 95 gets a great launch. 95 is going to challenge to the inside here going into turn 1.
Looking to make it 3 wide already. 16's not trying to pinch, not trying to battle it out. And look, here comes Matt Boone out of nowhere. Where did he come from? He's storming to the front.
Ooh, 16-22. We're close. Coming off the corner there. 19 held up the 18 a little bit. 18 to the inside of the 19 of Cowboy.
What is that 38 going to be able to do? Here he comes down, trying to get in the tire tracks of the 95, trying to run him down. Josh Arnold out of nowhere making his way to P number 3.
Josh Arnold, he's going to be under attack by Enstagok. Enstagok just cleared the 16 of Bain. So Enstagok right in the tire tracks of Arnold as well.
And right now, Boone is running down Roman. Got it within 1/10 of a second. Now currently sitting at 2/10 of a second. And he is running a little bit higher, trying to get to the tire tracks, but running a little bit higher, seeing if he can't get a run off the corner, running a more higher arc. And right now it is helping him, to say the least. Back down to about 0.19 is what he got to the straightaway. And he is sitting consistently right there with the 95, trying to stay with him.
Yeah, Boone's getting a really nice run off this corner, off these corners. I like the way that 38's working right now. But that 95, we see it's got a ton of speed, and it's got Nicholas Roman's favorite thing, clean air in front of it. So hopefully this 38's got something for him coming up here on the, what do we got, 16 laps to go?
Currently 17 laps to go, 16 to go next time by. And, I mean, these guys are just battling it out, to say the least, behind them. It's these two that have separated themselves from the rest of the field by about a second now. And Boone is just trying his hardest to try to stay in the tire tracks, try to close in on this 95.
38's doing a great job staying in the tire tracks of the 95. We see him, he takes kind of a wider arc off of the corner here, which I think is adding to his speed. 95 not hugging that white line like he was earlier, so the 95's moved up about a half of a truck length in these corners.
And you got to think he's trying to do that to add dirty air to the 38's nose, trying to make him use up those tires, trying to make that truck feel uncomfortable, tighter on corner entry and corner exit. You got to make him feel uncomfortable. Not only is the 38 trying to intimidate, add pressure to the 95, saying, hey, I'm here, the 95's trying to make that 38 truck drive uncomfortable, try to make him switch his line around, try to force him to try something different to try to find that speed to catch the 95.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can lead and take the other guy's line away, I mean, we saw it Saturday night, Bristol in the Cup race, a lot of those guys taking lines away from each other. So if you could do that, like Nick Vroman's doing right now, that's a really, really great strategy here.
And don't look now, but Justin Anisagok is running these two down. And right now, I mean, if he can get up there to this to these top two, I'm sure Matt Boone would not mind the help at all.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about that is Anisagok pushing his truck too hard to close this gap, where these guys have a chance to save a little bit. Now, not that anybody's saving here with just a few laps to go in this race, but Anisagok might be pushing just a little too hard to make a push at the end.
Well, right now, Boone staying consistently around the same gap to Vroman that he was, not necessarily closing in anymore, but not losing time either. And now Anisagok, he's staying consistent as well. So these tires starting to even out for these guys as we continue here. 14 laps to go.
Great run here for Boone so far. I mean, this is just an awesome run for him. Good to see him up here battling Vroman and Anisagok for this win here at Indy.
And one thing
looks like he lost a little time there.
Yeah, he didn't get to the apex like he wanted to, and that cost him a lot of time. Cost him about a tenth to Vroman, and you know, a tenth can really it can be a deciding factor. It can take you out of the draft and make you start losing time. It gives Vroman a lot more breathing room as well.
I don't have the latest and greatest timing and scoring pulled up, but it looks like Anisagok starting to close up on the back of Boone after Boone made that mistake lap previous. So it looks like the 18's getting a little bit closer here. He's using the old iCrometer.
He's actually catching both of them. Caught a tenth to Vroman as well. So he's catching these guys up front. That's up for no debate. He is catching these guys. Just caught another tenth on him that previous lap by, now 6 tenths behind the leader.
Now the question is, once Anisagok gets to the back of Boone, how hard is Boone going to fight him for P2?
In my opinion, if I'm Anisagok, I know from my experience being behind Vroman, there's no way you're passing him by yourself. You need to have a dancing partner to get by him, and he is catching one right now. They're losing time to Vroman. Vroman is now in his element, but can he push that 38 back up there, or will the 38 let him go and push him to the back bumper of that 95? We're about to see these questions answered right now as these guys get closer together.
Yeah, these guys, if the 38 and the 18 get side-by-side racing, it's going to be the greatest thing Nick Froman's seen all night long. However, if they work together and stay tight, that's bad news for the 95. So we're seeing it right now.
And let's see how this works out. Down the front straightaway, I think will be the first test of what we see here on how this will work for these two guys. Caught about a 10th.
And Scott looking to make the move in
And
under
here we
Boone
go.
here.
They started catching about a 10th, but he's saying, hey, I can't wait that long. Here we go. Gonna try to slide up, in which he does. They lose a little bit of time, but now here we go. Now will Boone be the one to push? He pushed Kobe through the field. Now will he push Anasagak to our leader?
Yeah, that 38 needs to lock on the bumper of that 18 truck. You know, P2's not out of the question for him, but right now he's got to be a pusher P2, not a speed P2.
Right now, coming to 10 laps to go. Do these guys have enough time? On average, they have to catch a 10th a lap this time by.
Yeah, they need to start working on that gap immediately. Not a whole lot of time left.
And it is working right now. They have already caught a 10th just in turn 1.
.38's falling a little bit off of that back bumper or the 18. I think the 38's going to lose the 18 here.
I actually concur with that. The 18, he has lost his help, and he has lost that 10th that they gained in turn 1. I think the 38, he might have just called his shot right there, as he is starting to lose time now to the 18 and also the 95 both.
You know who else the 38's losing time to?
Corey Kobe back there, P4.
Corey Kobe right behind him.
And right now it's going to be a factor between. I think the most interesting battle is the hometown kid going to get up here and get himself a P3 position.
You know, judging by lap times that last time by, it looks like Corey Kobe has got the speed to get around Boone.
Let's go take a look. Actually, let's pull it up. The last lap, the last time by. Yep, 0.3 quicker than Mr. Matt Boone.
Yeah, he's definitely got that 28 truck rolling here at his hometown track tonight. That's awesome to see. He sees Boone right there ahead of him, and he knows how many laps are left. He's on the attack.
And we're keeping the camera on this one here in the final few laps, as now the gap between them, now 0.5 here, now down to 0.4. That 38 has just had a rough time here in this final restart. Was right there at the back bumper of the 95, but quickly the tires have gone away on that 38 machine. Corey Kobe looking to go on the attack, nearing 0.3 between them.
Yeah, he is really chopping that lead down. He's going to get to the back bumper of Boone probably in this next set of corners.
And he is pulling down the straightaway. He's not really gaining time, but not really losing it neither. And now through 3 and 4, it's more the cornering that this 38 has to worry about. You hit the nail right on the head, because that's where the tires are needed most. in the corners, not necessarily on the straightaway, but carrying the momentum through the corners. And right here, that gap now down to 0.2.
Yeah, about 1.5 truck lengths between these two guys. This is the battle for P3.
And for those out there in chat wanting to see the hometown boy go up here and get himself a podium, put in the chat hashtag #GoKobe, as right now he is trying to catch Boone. Lost a little bit there in 1 and 2. Go give him the support. He needs it, ladies and gentlemen, as we are coming to 5 laps to go.
Yeah, gave up a little time there on that end of the racetrack, but I think he's going to gain it all back right here as we saw the 38 up the hill. 38 kind of almost touching the rumble strips down there in 4.
Whoa! 38 once again. He's using those rumble strips to try to help him turn. Not a bad strategy as he's looking to try to pull away again. He might have found something using those rumble strips.
Yeah, those rumble strips are really working for that 38, which the scary thing about those rumble strips are sometimes those will kick your vehicle sideways, which it's really scary really fast.
Right now, that 38 trying everything he can to hold on to it. Looking back here behind these guys as well. Another battle here, this time for the top 5 position. Here's Meredith right behind Josh Arnold. You can see these guys closing in on each other now. 0.2 between, now 1/10 between Meredith and Arnold. About 2.5 truck lengths there down the straightaway. Can Meredith make a move? And I think the hardest thing for these drivers to do right now, especially at this point in the run, is try to make that move. Once they get to the back bumper, it seems that dirty air in combination with these old tires just leads that truck to get tight, and they really have to get out of it.
Yeah, they got to really get out of the throttle, get that front end to turn, fight back to it. Keeping the backside. It's not that it's going to get loose. It's just going to get to a 4-wheel drift.
Right now, these guys still holding on to their spots. Still maintaining that gap. Meredith not really gaining, but not losing either. And now as we hit 2 laps to go, going back up to the leader, Anna Sagak, 1.4 back. 2 more laps for Nicholas Vroman. Here at probably, I would say outside of Daytona, Lamar, give me another one that are huge time tracks.
Darlington.
Naming all the tracks throughout the sport. This is probably one of the top, if not the top, motorsports venue in all of motorsports itself. And right here, coming through 3 and 4 to take the white flag, Nicholas Roman looking to add his name to those that have won here previously. Down the front straightaway, coming for the last time, white flag, 1 lap to go here at Indianapolis. Nicholas Vroman now with a second gap to Anna Sagak, trying to hold on to this final few laps. Rounding.
And it's made up 0.4 of a second, but it's not going to be enough to catch him, I don't think.
No, I think Roman's just running easy, trying not to make a mistake. Here, down the back straightaway, through 3, down the short chute, into 4 for the final time, and down the front straightaway for the 6th time in his NNR iRacing career. And for the first time in NNR history on iRacing, he will kiss the bricks. Nicholas Roman is your winner at Indianapolis.
Great run to that 95 truck. He was sat on the pole, won the race. He was the truck to beat all night long. So awesome job to the 95. Nicholas Roman there tonight. Anna Sagak coming home P2. Boone P3. Hometown boy Corey Kobe with a really good run. Got to P4. Arnold rounds out your top 5.
Yeah, and to continue on, Meredith in 6th, McQuaid 7th, Tyndall in 8th, Snyder 9th, Smith rounding out your top 10, Cardwell, Horn, Irvin, Quinones, Hampton your top 15. Then it's going to be Bain rounding out the guys on the lead lap, and rounding out the rest of the field, Ed Robertson, Drew Trader, Carroll, Boehner, Diltz, Darnell, Coey, Cochran, Ray Lane, Trader, Burt, Shane Wolf, rounding out your field of 28. Give us just 1 second as we look to get your top guys in here up to this point. Let's see if we can get our top 3 in here, as some of them will be migrating to the green room. Give us 1 second and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. And guys, we are back here at Indianapolis. The unofficial results, of course, the officials will go through this race to make sure everything is squeaky clean, and we can confirm this. Don't see any problems that would change that, though. But doing post-race interviews, unfortunately, Boone will not be able to come to the booth, but he has given us a replacement. And as the hometown driver himself, our 4th place finisher, Corey Kobe, to represent Boone in the team, and finishing 3-4. Y'all came so close to having a win. Boone was up there, and then of course you had such a great run, almost got a podium. How does it feel to be able to have such a good run at your home track? I believe also you were the biggest mover as well.
Yeah, it feels great. Really starting the season, I thought I was going to be more of a front runner, and have run into a lot of problems, and still hadn't even cracked a top 10 this year, and was getting really frustrated with it. Came into Indy, obviously when I come here I expect to run good, but missed qualifying a little bit. I didn't get my laps in, so I had to start towards the back, and as soon as I was going through the field, I felt pretty good about it. I wish I had, maybe if I had been able to qualify more towards the front, I could have had maybe something more, but this definitely feels like a win, just getting a 4th after having dismal finishes all year.
Well, definitely, it was nice. We were cheering you on. We had people cheering you on out there in chat to go get it. What was the one thing that kept you from being able to consistently go up there with Anasagak and Roman and try to challenge for the win?
I think everybody was just so close on lap times. Everybody was so even on speed. Even if you were in the draft, everybody was just hitting their marks up there when you got to the front. And me and Bowling were running, still calling Bowling, but we were running right nose to tail a lot of that race, and you just really couldn't do a whole lot. So tires were kind of falling off there. It felt like as the race was going on, the tire wear seemed like it was a little more intense, and the guy, Vroman, was able to do it better than the rest of us.
Well, you definitely still had a great run. Like I said, people were cheering you on, and definitely had a lot of support out there in chat. Any shout outs from you, my friend?
Yeah, shout out to everybody in this league. This is a lot of fun. The competition is a lot steeper than I thought. Shout out to CBR and Matt Boone and having a good run. We needed a good run tonight. It kind of reminds you that we do know how to drive, and we're out here and we're improving, and hopefully those wins will start coming.
Well, definitely. Once again, congratulations on your run here tonight. Can't wait to see how you go and move it on into next week. Like I said, congratulations once again, and we're going to send you to Race Room 4 to go celebrate, my friend.
All right, appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. Have a good night.
You too. And now looking to pull in our next place finisher. It's going to be Justin Anasagak and Blair. You're going to get to take it away. Here you go, buddy.
Just an Anasagak, Blair, expert in the booth. You got a copy?
What up?
Not much. We just sat here watching a really awesome 100-lap race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tell us about your truck.
I am worn out right now, just letting you guys know. I was hoping that last caution didn't come out because I had a lap better, fresher tires than Roman. So I was just hanging out and trying to get away from the pack a little bit, and then I was going to make my move at the end. And then that caution came out, and I got stuck behind a little bit of traffic and used up all my stuff. Getting around everybody else to get back up there and just use it all up.
And right here, Justin, you also you had kind of like an up and down day, but you've been trying to build momentum, of course, heading into the second half of the season. Going into the next race, how do you plan to take this momentum and try to see if you can re-enter the fight for the title? It's mostly been Nick Trader and Nick Vroman, but do you think you have a shot to get back up there and battle for the title against those guys in the second half of this season?
No, not even close. The way my season started with 6 DNFs and 3 straight, I think it's pretty much gone. But unless they finish last every race from out here on out and I get to grab to a lot of points, but I don't see that happening for the rest of the season. So I think I can get up to maybe 3rd or 4th at most.
Well, of course you had this great finish overall. Any shout outs from you, my friend, before we let you go off and celebrate?
No, all you two up in the booth, everybody in the league, and HD on his win. Another one, darn it. Like every time I finish second, he's in front of me, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Pete for letting me run his paint scheme. So,
well, definitely congratulations once again. We're going to send you up to General for post racing. We will talk to you next week as we head off to round 13. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And now for our winner, Nicholas Vroman. Let's pull him in here. And we talked to him in pre-race a little bit, but now we're getting to talk to him in victory lane, and this is like a common occurrence, but Nick, it is Expert and Blair up in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
Oh, yeah, what's up?
Man, 6 wins on the season, and now you win at probably one of the biggest tracks in all of motorsports. You can consider it a crown jewel in NNR, I would say. Man, how do you keep doing it, my friend? I mean, you just went out there and purely dominated. It looked like at times there were guys out there to catch you, but it seemed like you always had a move to counter them and cause them to fall off.
Qualifying was a huge help. Um, I think in his two extra positions on Shaneworth, he was very strong tonight, fast, and then Justin, he was really fast too, and I think the qualifying honestly helped huge to stay in front of those guys and in front of the game. But other than that, it's just staying consistent, constantly hitting your marks, and then pit road. Pit road, you can make a lot of time or you can lose a lot of time, and I feel like we did pretty decent tonight on pit road.
Definitely, you made up a lot of time on pit road here this evening. That was one thing that we pointed out. And carrying this into the next few rounds, looking at the schedule, I believe after this race we're going to be heading to tick 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 tick. I gotta look. We're heading to Dover. So you go from Indy to the Monster Mile. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a fan of Dover. Of course, Dover is if one person hits the wall in front of you, there could be a huge pileup. So I think it'll be a fun race, and I can't wait to do it.
Well, definitely, we can't wait to see it. Any shout-outs from you, my friend?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the guys I usually race with. Bane. He didn't go his way, but he had a heck of a strategy, heck of a tire call. The first green flag stop, he actually didn't take any tires at all to save his set. So that was a really good strategy by him. I really liked it. It's a good call. Rowdy Lane had a good night. Fortunately, had to end there towards the end, and you guys up in the booth, the admins, Coey, Cowboy, Trader, Shane Wolf making all the paint schemes, and this is sure she's out there in chat. Pete, I see Pete out there talking, so just thank everybody to watch.
Well, definitely congratulations once again on your win, my friend. We will let you go celebrate, and like I say, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
All right, going to move him up to general for post-race. And Blair, we notch another one in the books, round 12 of 22. Man, I don't know what else to say besides it was awesome to be back in the booth with you, my friend, and it was awesome to call another great NNR race. And now we head to the Monster Mile next week, to where we're going to venture into some good old racing there, in which he mentioned it. There could be loads of chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Monster Mile, obviously not a short track being a 1 mile distance, but it definitely races like a short track. And if something happens in front of you, there's not a whole lot of room to avoid it anywhere on that track. So should be a really exciting race next Monday night here on the XR Network.
Definitely. And once again, for all those viewers out there in chat, we want to thank you for joining us. Everyone at the Expert Racing Network, One Mind to Design, and the No Name Racing League, for Repeat 1975, for Blair Patterson Racing, and for everyone that has been a part of the Expert Racing community and made this what it is today. We want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Peace.